Hi. Okay, so far we have been doing rather basic things with strings. We were printing all of the elements in the strings, all of the characters. We were checking what is the character at a specific index or things like that. But we haven't been like checking uh, what can we say about this string or things like that. And right now we will discuss a topic like this. So right now we will introduce how we can use a logical operation on strings. And as you probably already know from introductory courses, logical operations are very important because they allow you mm, to write a program which recognizes that the current situation is matches this scenario or some other scenario. You can determine based on these conditions what your program should do. So as always, let's have a look at an example. So here we will check whether a specific letter is present in a string. So let's jump into Visual Studio Code, where we have this example open. And let's first try to figure out what this code does. So basically, we define a function which takes two arguments. The name suggests that the first argument is the string of interest, and the second argument will also be a string, but just a string with one single character in it. And well, at first we will assume that the letter of interest is not present in our string. So as usual in cases like this, we define a helper variable which will track along the function execution, will track what is our current belief about the situation. Until we reach the end of a function or of a loop or something, this variable is not a final answer. It's just our current state of knowledge about the given problem. So in our case, since we haven't seen any letters of the string yet, we assume that the letter is not present in our string. So we set the variable present to false. And then we start a for loop. And in this for loop, we tell Python to iterate through all of the elements of variable string. So to iterate through all of the characters of our string. And what do we do here? If current letter which Python is considering is the same as character we have given as an argument, as a second argument, then we should change our helper variable to true. And if that's the case, we can easily break the loop. We can finish the loop at this stage because we already know that the letter is present in our string. We don't have to check if it's present there more than once. Otherwise, so if this condition is not met, we simply keep our variable set to false. You can actually get exactly the same behavior of this program if you just delete this line, because this program is written in a functional manner, but don't worry about this. We made it more explicit for you to recognize what happens in one scenario or in the other. Okay, so if at some point the variable is set to present, if at some point current letter in the iteration matches the argument passed to the function, then the for loop is broken, and Python gets out of the for loop, goes to the code which is just next, just after the loop. The next line is just to return the current value of the present variable. So if the loop was broken at some point, this variable has value true. So if the loop was broken at some point, then the letter was present in the string. So we return true. If Python went through the entire loop and in any there was no iteration where the current letter was equal to the character, then our variable present stays false, and this is what we return. And we can then use this function to check, for instance, if a letter O is present in the string word. So let's run this example. As you can see, in the end we print the result so that we can see if everything works correctly. So let's run this example, and you can see that letter O is actually is indeed present in this string. If we add something here, the result will not change. We still have letter O present. It doesn't matter if it's more than once or how many times you want. It can be present how many times you want. We can also see that if we try to check if a letter which is not present in the string, what result we will have then, and we will easily can check that we indeed get the desired result. So letter Z is not present in our in the current string provided as the first argument. So yeah, this is how you can define a function which checks whether a specific letter is in a string. But actually in Python there is a much easier way to do it. We've just showed this to you to show you that you can actually compare strings using logical operators like is equal to. We will expand about this in the next video. But here I just want to show you that we can check in much more easier way whether some letter is present in a word. We can use reserved keyword in Python, and this works just like we would expect from the name. We simply check. Python evaluates this logical expression and checks whether a letter T is in the string stored in a variable word. So checks whether letter T is in the word Macintosh, and we should get true from here. We can also check whether a specific letter is not present in a word. So if we, for instance, we'll check if letter Z is present in this word. Then after running this example, we should get 2 true values. If we will try to check for a letter which is present in the word and ask Python, is it not in the word, then we should get false, and so on and so on. So this is a really easy way of checking if a letter is present in a string. I believe we can even, using this method, we can even easily check if some portion, if some smaller string, like portion of our string, is present in a bigger string. So this method works also for things like this. Okay, so So this is how you can use logical operators on strings. How you can check if something is or is not present in a string. In the next video, we will expand this topic, and we will talk briefly about like how you can actually compare different strings, compare different characters, and surprisingly in Python there is a way of comparing whether some character is bigger than another, if some string is bigger than another, and this is what we will talk about in the next video. So thank you for your attention and see you there.